Hello and welcome to the Learning Reading Hub. Today we're going to talk about one very common mistake I see all the time when it comes to teaching reading. And no, it's not phonics versus whole language. It's something much simpler yet totally overlooked in our digital age. So without further ado, let's get started. So what is it? What's the mistake? I won't make you wait. We're forgetting about handwriting. I know it sounds old school, but stick around because this is a much bigger issue than it seems. We live in a world of iPads, keyboards, apps, and artificial intelligence. Kids these days can swipe before they can tie their shoes, and this is true, it's not an exaggeration, and you know it. So handwriting is fading. People are giving much less importance to handwriting than ever before. And this is happening across the board for little kids and in high school as well. Teens are struggling with basic legibility, note-taking, and even writing by hand during exams. So this is not only sad, it's extremely concerning. Why? Well, let me share with you with Dr. Annabella Malpeck and her team founding a massive meta-study of writing and handwriting across 20 plus years of research. Kids who write by hand actually write better. They produce better writing when using pen and paper. They write longer texts more clearly and with higher quality content than when typing on a keyboard. But that's not all. Not at all. Handwriting helps with spelling, memory, and even learning. Think about it. When kids handwrite, they are not just putting words on paper, they are engaging the brain in ways that screens can't match. And here's the thing, while handwriting is taught in elementary school, it basically disappears in middle school and high school. And this is a mistake, it shouldn't disappear. Teenagers still need handwriting to take notes, to focus, to process and retain information. And you know what? Personally, I couldn't agree more. Maybe it's just me, but when I was a student, and I was a good one, I used to write to remember. Nobody taught me this technique. Actually, I kind of discovered it myself. But yeah, I discovered that if I wrote something down, I could remember it much better. So I did it all the time. It was one of my favorite tools. And then, you know, it's funny because lately I watched 2 interviews of 2 different authors that said they handwrite their entire manuscripts because it helps their brain work better. Well, it seems like there's a lot of truth in their observations. Anyway, let's talk about learning to read specifically and handwriting. What I see is that even when we teach reading to young children, writing is often overlooked. Even though the two go hand in hand, kids today are doing way less writing than they used to in elementary school. In classrooms, children are already taking tests on iPads as early as first grade, and they are probably overusing it for many activities. I'm not exaggerating, this is real in American classrooms today. And hey, you know very well, I'm not against digital tools at all, but they have to be supported of, not a replacement. So my message here is, while digital tools are helpful, if the digital shift is misunderstood and means that children miss out on the foundational benefits of handwriting, then that's a problem. And now I'm going to talk about another study, and please pay close attention because this is huge in my opinion for anyone involved in literacy, parents, teachers, policymakers alike. In one study carried out in 2012 and published in Trends in Neuroscience and Education, pre-literate 5 years old, that is young kids that did not know how to read yet, were divided in 3 groups. One was asked to trace some letters, the other group typed the letters, and the third group wrote the letters by hand. After that, they were exposed to the same letters while their brain activity was measured using MRI technology. And guess what? What happened? A reading circuit in the brain was only activated in those children that had the handwriting experience. It wasn't activated in those that typed or traced the letters. So what does this mean? Well, it clearly suggests that handwriting, the hand movement involved in writing, help children form stronger brain connections, key for learning to read. So when we skip handwriting, we may be skipping a key piece of the puzzle for successful reading instruction. Anyway, if interested in knowing more about this study, I will, as usual, leave you a link to the study in the video description. But here's another interesting twist to this story. Let's assume that kids already know how to read and well, they have to use computers on a regular basis now. You know what? Children are also not learning how to type on a keyboard properly. There's this myth that assumes that since kids grow up with screens, they automatically know how to use them, but using an iPad is not the same as typing on a keyboard. And it turns out that most kids can't type well at all. Again, coming back to Dr. Malpeck's research, and I leave you the link to the meta study, of course, as well in the video description, they found that kids aren't being taught keyboarding properly or at all, and it shows. Many kids are stuck in the hand and peck stage. You've seen that before, right? That is when you see a person that uses one or two fingers to locate and press the keys on a keyboard, but it's a real struggle. So what happens here? Well, what happens is that typing, like writing by hand, is a learned motor skill. It takes practice and repetition and a structure to become fluent, just like learning how to handwrite. So why is this important? Why does this matter? Well, handwriting, but typing also, involves transcription skills, being able to spell quickly, and the ability to also quickly and accurately get ideas down on paper or a screen before the idea kind of flies away, or you start to doubt about the spelling of words because it just took you too long to transcribe them. So the more automatic these skills become, the better kids can express their thoughts. If they don't have to think about how to write, they can focus on what to write. So what can we do, right? Well, these are the main takeaways here, in my opinion. Number one, don't forget about the importance of handwriting. For those teaching reading, don't only focus on the coding, focus on teaching the letter and letter formation, letter writing at the same time. It's okay to use an app, it's okay to use screens, but you want to do things on paper. The traditional way is superior. That's the foundational skill, not the other way around. Takeaway number two, don't drop handwriting after elementary school. Keep it going. Number three, we need to teach typewriting, so probably we should make this a priority as well in the classroom or in our household. These days, children know how to tap and how to swipe, but they don't really know how to type on a keyboard. In other words, we need to raise hybrid writers, kids who can think and write fluently on a paper and on a screen. And that starts right from the beginning with how we approach reading instruction. Okay, so I'd be really interested to know your thoughts about this topic, so don't be shy, comment down below. Do your kids still write by hand? Have you ever noticed a difference in how you think when you write on paper versus when you write? And if you found this video interesting and helpful, please give it a like and hit subscribe for more videos like this one. Bye and see you in the next video.